He's a young
But you
parent.
look very good for your age.
He's a young
Dennis.
parent.
I drink a lot of formaldehyde and it keeps me going. But I liked about that match is that he went from a takedown right into a Mills and just
nailed him. What do we got here, John?
At 132, we have from Dracut in the blue and white, Mike Stewart, and from Milford in the white, we have Mark Pinto. Mark Pinto, who beat Simi Baghdadi to get here. And I believe
Pinto's in trouble right now. Oh, he got out of it. Nope. Nope. He's in trouble. 2-point takedown. He's tenacious there. He didn't give up.
Well, a Dracut wrestler on that initial move, the one thing he did that was different, he held on to the wrist and didn't let it go. And so even though his opponent got out of that for a bit, he was right there to go pull that out and go a duck under right behind him.
Yep.
So
Stewart is
really
ranked,
good technique.
Stewart is ranked number 3 in the state, and Pinto number 8 at this weight class. Both highly thought of wrestlers. Whoa, what do we got here?
We have a repeat of the last match. We're going right after him.
2-0.
He's got that pretty tight.
2-0 for Stewart.
That takes a lot of energy out of you when you have to do that.
With 45 seconds left here in the first period.
Yeah, when you're down on the bottom like that, it's a strain.
Yep.
You can see Stewart coming in there, trying to control the wrists.
And changing off from one position to another, to another, to another. It's really can grind you.
This is the 132-pound weight class. This is our 5th of 14 matches.
Stewart trying to get a leg in there. Get the legs underneath.
He's going to get points here.
And now he's got
a tough ride on. He's really tough, this kid.
And if you're watching this and wondering if there's a power outage, here in Reading we have a mat light and the rest of the gym is dark. Adds to the excitement.
Yep.
Makes it hard on the referee though, doesn't it, Dennis?
Well, we got a 5-zip score right away, so
wow.
Looks like we got some blood. We got some blood time out here.
Blood time.
5-0. I've heard some referees tell me, Dennis, that under the mat light, it's hard to see the shoulders.
Well, you see the center circle is black.
Yes.
And depending on the uniforms of the kids, if they have dark uniforms, it's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, they say, well, that was a pin, that was a pin. It's like, I'm 2 feet away and I can't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. You're over there 40 feet away. It's like black down here, and the kid's got a dark blue uniform. The other kid's got a dark red uniform. Like, what are you talking about? So, it can be difficult.
So,
but then again, if you slap the mat, and, you know, what's the coach going to say? And like, well, you couldn't. I couldn't see it. How are you going to say he wasn't pinned?
Right.
You know, so.
So Stewart's having he had a little
nosebleed,
little bit of a nosebleed.
Yeah, you get 5 minutes for that, and they
5 minutes running time.
5 minutes till they and the what happens is that as soon as the trainer or whoever, if the coach stops the bleeding, the clock stops. Yeah. And then they do cleanup, and that's allowable. That there's not time against you. But in 42 years, I've had 2 guys bleed out, and one of them was called by a coach. Because he said, this kid's been bleeding all year. We haven't been able to stop it. And it was in the sectionals. And he said, that's it, he's done.
Stewart's riding hard here.
Yeah, he's tying up those legs pretty good there. It's not allowing Pinto to move. He's riding him high, although Pinto's trying to go out the back.
Right,
he's
high.
Trying to go out the back.
Well, what he's trying to do is get to his hands. If he can get his hands off the mat, you stop it for potentially dangerous. But he can't get it.
It looks like Stewart's kind of...
Stewart's doing a good job of keeping him on the mat.
He's there to cradle. He's switching off and on. A lot of good combination moves.
Minute 20 seconds left here in the second period.
5-0
for Stewart.
It's got to be stopped here.
Yep.
There you go.
Potentially dangerous. As we always tell you, the referee's major job is safety. First job.
Yeah. Now that doesn't look like much, but if the wrestler on the bottom were to go directly backwards to the back, the wrestler on top can't do anything. He could get, you know, an internal injury being thrown back like that. So that's why it stopped.
Stewart's going for the tilt.
Most people think it's because they might go forward or something, but it's really. Yeah. Now we got a high bridge there, and we got a 1 second call, but not 2. So there was no near fall.
Well, Stewart He had his opponent's arm and wrist there, and just took him over. Just couldn't have it long enough.
No,
Uh-oh, what's that?
Was that it?
illegal hold.
Illegal hold.
What was that, Dennis? Is that a full Nelson?
I'm guessing at a full Nelson. We can't tell from here because we're not seeing it, but I would guess a full Nelson because he did have both arms underneath. He's trying to get a half in one side, and maybe he just didn't get the hand out.
I'm sure that wasn't intentional, or
no, it's kind of a, he's probably going to hate himself later. Right now with a 5-1 lead, he's probably not too worried about it. But most people think you have to touch hands there, and you don't. All you have to do is establish pressure. You've got both hands on the head. You can apply pressure, and that's what we look for as officials. So.
Well, there was a quick turn there, but no points awarded.
Another 1 second call.
Yeah.
5 seconds left here in the second period. 5-1 still for Stewart.
It was in criteria for 1 second and then rolled out of it, so no near fall.
He rode him that whole period.
Yeah.
So this is just unusual. See wrestlers being ridden for a whole period in a championship.
That's right.
So now Mark Pinto's on top. He's got to turn him.
Well, everybody we've had here, except for one kid, I think, has been ranked in top 10.
Yes.
And the one wrestler who wasn't got pinned.
That's right.
So that's what you're going to get.
So the rankings are right so far. This trying to switch. Not happening. Pinto nicely stays behind. Stewart went right up to his feet. I don't know, what do we got here? Quick reversal.
Through.
Joe Capone, the official, was about to give us an escape there. He had his hand coming up, and then grab of the leg and held on, and now we have reversal. So somebody said, why isn't that 1 escape, 2 takedown? But the Milford wrestler turned right in and grabbed the high crotch, and so Stewart couldn't get away, and then out of that he worked into a reversal.
You'll also notice we have 2 referees, a primary and a secondary. And
we don't call it that, we call it assistant.
Assistant. Sorry, Dennis.
And Neil Sanfrelli would not like to hear that.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah, you've got the head official, if you want to call it that, and then or the referee, and then the assistant. So
assistant.
Which, by the way, he's free to roam anywhere he wants. They try to keep 180 from one another, as you'll see. The referee's moving as the other referee moves, and he's there basically to help out with anything that, like a locked hands or an illegal hold.
I remember in the
Here's some
All-State.
here's some points being counted off.
Two. Dennis, we've been noticing some variance in awarding that 2 points and just how long it is, but with each different referee.
And most coaches will tell you the same thing. As long as that referee consistently does that, they're okay with it.
Yeah.
If you're inconsistent, then they got a problem. And actually, the referee should have a problem because they should be consistent.
I recall an All-State match a couple of years ago, Dennis, where you were the assistant, and you noticed the clock hadn't started with Mr. Barucci.
That's the end of the match.
In Burlington?
Yes. That was a pretty bizarre situation, actually, because at Salem they have that big scoreboard above you, and when you're on the mat you can't see it.
That's right.
And little did we know, but on the wall they have a small time clock, and they only turn it on in the finals, and they didn't tell any of us that that was on, and I didn't notice it. So I had to get back and look up at the clock because I knew it was near the end of the period, and I wasn't watching the wrestling as much as I should have been because I'm trying to see the clock. And